Matthews getting online tonight. I hope that's here at the hotel. So again, Shane Matthews joins us. We're talking about the press coverage today that we attended. Shane did not see it, and we were talking about what we've heard. The responses have been very good, and especially been really good from guys like Coach Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, who were there and heartily endorsed what they heard and they liked. So, meanwhile, folks, if you can give me a hit up and let me know we're connected, because we got issues here with the internet in the hotel, and we need to know we're back and running. So, all right. So, Shane, you said you did not hear the press conference.
Not the full one. I mean, I just heard sound bites or whatever on Twitter.
Okay. Was there one that stuck out to you?
No, I mean, I like his demeanor. I look, you've been to all these press conferences, buddy. Everybody gets excited, and they should. You got a new coach, and I think, like I said, I think the most important thing is for me is who's calling the plays and coaching the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a good offensive coordinator. He's either two or three, not just what he said, but how he said it. And thank you to Tommy and Toby and Panhandle Rob, everybody for checking in. Let me know that you got live again with Shane Matthews on Meldon Law Monday. The thing is, Shane, when he stops and says in a certain tone, I want to coach here forever, with a certain sincerity, it rings a bell. And then he says, not in a corny way, it's great to be a Florida Gator. You got the feeling that he was a Gator. I never got that feeling with the last guy. I never got that feeling with hardly any of them. I got a feeling this guy is going to be, already is a committed Gator. And so I think that's important. And I think somebody told me today, they heard Allie Pete Wilbur on last night, and she says, remember, he chose us and we chose him. I think the fact that he chose us is what we wanted, right? So I will say, Patrick says he didn't say gap integrity or complimentary football. So I like that a lot. And again, he's intentional. He doesn't mess around, doesn't mince words. He's not going to hire his friends. He said he got some people angry at him last time because he didn't, but that's not how he built. And so it was a really good press conference. I was able to get a question in at the end about his problems that drove him out of football his last year at Kentucky. And he had a spine problem. He had that he had forced him to leave, and he went down to Destin and pounded a bunch of beers and sat there and got a call from Rich Brooks and come back and be a GA, and he did. And somebody asked me, I think it was Coach Spurrier, were you at Billy's press? I said, yes, I was. Was there a big difference? Oh, yeah, a real big difference. It's almost like Billy just really didn't. Billy was there to sort of keep away from us what he didn't want us to know. So he was not forthcoming. This guy is ready to strap it on right now and go. If you want to go with him, he's ready. So I'm not going to say I'm falling in love with the first date, but I really like what I saw today. If this is what we're going to have, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be ready to roll. I don't know when he'll be our full-time coach.
Depends on as soon as he's done. If he loses Friday night, he will.
Yeah. Well, if he loses Friday night, people are going to raise hell. Fans will, but he's got his hands full Friday night with North Texas.
No doubt, and your coach you like a lot. You talked about it. All right, I wanted to ask you straight up. I know we had a lot of conversations about this, and I know that you wanted Lane Kiffin, and most everybody did. How do you feel about that now? Or do you feel like he still was the right one and should have gotten him? And what do you think went wrong?
I mean, we don't know, buddy, because we weren't in those meetings. I think a couple of things from what I've heard, whether they're true or not, made the decision easier for Lane. I don't know if the general manager thing was a problem. I do know for a fact the high school's issues was a problem. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's not our coach, and all that drama and all that nonsense that has been going on for the last week or so. We don't have to deal with. And Coach Sumrall's our coach. We'll support him.
Here's a guy who was there. Let's get his take on it. And again, we didn't compare notes that much. We were sitting together. And Loren, you got a chance to. You went into it open-eyed, and you kind of like Kiffin. What's your take on today's press conference? And whatever you thought.
No, I thought he was ready to go. We mentioned on the show yesterday, the pop-up show that we did, that I've spoken to a couple people. One guy that played for him, and his father, decorated combat veteran, who knows Kiffin from Kentucky. Sumrall from Kentucky, as well as then transferred to play for him at Tulane. And he said he's a football coach, man. He lot of cutting and pasting at Tulane, because it's not Florida and it's not even Kentucky, and his ability to get that team ready to roll is one of his biggest assets. And I heard a comment from him, it might have been a week ago, and they talked about him being the 24th ranked team in the country. And he said, well, that doesn't say much. If we're the 24th ranked team in the country, then there's some really bad football teams, because he didn't think they were that good. So, I think that he's a guy that's real, tells it like it is. I think he will be demanding from an on the field standpoint. And hey, let's face it, I was going on, obviously Kiffin from an offensive standpoint. I think Kiffin was the, ideal choice, so to speak, just because we had just wandered in the desert offensively for 4 years with, just a lot of bad football. You got a lot of guys who know X's and O's, and they were looking at this like, wow, this just isn't good. Either when they call it, how they line it up, how they draw it up, just wasn't good. So I think the yearning for Kiffin was built upon the fact that Florida just hadn't really been good offensively for under Billy Napier. So now you got a guy who would at least, I think, has now doubled down on the fact that he understands that offense has to be explosive, offense has to be diverse, and even unique in some ways. But like my friend Shane says, you got to find somebody who can pull the trigger, throw completions. I think they'll have a running game, but you can't lean on that in this conference. So, finding somebody, you've heard names like Cade Bell, Neil Brown, really good offensive mind. No, I was just going, and then
let's talk about Cade Bell for a second, because Shane knows him really well. He knows his dad quite well. I heard someone bring it up. I think Mark, I believe one, I'm not sure who brought it up. Mark Long, I guess, brought up the name. Obviously, we don't get any names at this point in time, but Shane, is that a situation you can see developing? You think Cade Bell would be a fit here?
I do. I know Cade's he's got a few other offers, and probably will have more coming from major programs. And then, you just got to see, he's going to have to see what's best job for him. I don't think he'll be back at Pitt next year.
Yeah, well, that's pretty clear today that they're going to get the top best guy they can get, and he's a very offensive mind, defensive coach. He's very much a part of that. He knows that Florida expects high-powered offenses. Well, so I think you'll like that. I'll tell you what else you'll like, Shane. You'll like actually be able to listen to him and talk and hear his answers and talk about it on your show, and then involve it during the game. So I think he's a very clear communicator on what he wants. Now, I'm not saying he's going to come in here and win 9, 10 games, but you get the mentality they could do really well next year. I know Coach Spurrier thinks they could, and he likes this guy. Let's see. Let's not get over our skis. Like I said, let's not fall in love on the first date. But if you do the check boxes on what you wanted to hear from your coach, I think this guy hit all the boxes, Shane, right down to the right of, talking about how cool it was to hear when he played here, hear the fans, the students hollering Gator bait, didn't he, Loren? He talked about the whole thing. He knew the scene. at the
Who
Swamp.
won't back was fired up about won't back down. But I was going to throw something else in offensively that I thought was interesting. Is it's almost like he knew that people had analyzed what he had done offensively at Troy and at Tulane, and what he said is you do what you do offensively based on what you have and how you have to win and what you need to do based on the talent. And then, like I said, he doubled down on the explosive, comment and knowing that you got to win, you got to have big plays in this conference. But yeah, I mean, I think that, he's, won't back down. Talked about his kids wanting to sit in the stands to embrace the swamp and be a part of that atmosphere. I mean, I think
basketball game, they'll have it all
go to
figured out.
basketball games. And so, like I said, I mean, we got a long way to go, and it all really starts in August, that last weekend of August. That's when the deal goes down, but you prepare for that deal starting in the spring, winter workouts, things like that. So I think he'll be a guy that'll be tapped into that, want to bring a certain edge. And like we talked about, I think you develop that edge Monday through Thursday in the way the practice, the way you prepare, and that's what gives you that edge on Saturdays. And I think he is going to intend to bring that, and hopefully everybody, he didn't use the word organization either, which I liked. He didn't say our organization. So I thought that was good too, because that used to drive me crazy about Billy Napier. But he's going to, hopefully that edge stays with the team, and they hang it, but from everything I understand, that edge is definitely there with him as his teams prepare. And, everybody will get a good look at him on Friday, to see what he brings to the table. I'm sure a lot of Florida Gator eyes will be glued in. They got to buckle up. They better bring their lunch Friday night. So we'll see what they're made of.
To the person who asked, did Jeremy Foley come? No, he was not there. But there was a very large contingent of VIP people. In fact, half the room, I know, told you, Loren. That's the most people, VIPs I've seen. And there were about a half dozen players. I know Vernell was one of them. Who else was there?
Dallas Wilson, I think Nashawn Montgomery was there, Miles Graham. I think and then you had a couple coaches, Mike Peterson, Chad Lucas kind of popped in. So, it was several. DJ Lagway obviously was there. So I guess I didn't see him do that, but I guess he hugged Lagway and Wilson maybe, or VB3 coming in. So, I think that's, he looked at them. He talked about wanting to work with them, keep them around, look forward to it. He mentioned Jaden B and, some of that. So, it was a solid presser, definitely different from Billy. And, I think he's won maybe, 70% people over, maybe a little bit less, just because he said he's going to hire an offensive coordinator, which was a no-brainer. Right. But,
Well, let me get this guy on fast. He's going to catch him when I get out of here, but Franz Beard. But I wanted to say, Shane, did you know Byron Bam Hardman?
I do know Bam.
He's coaching at Tulane.
Yeah, he's been at Troy. He's been everywhere with Sumrall probably for the last
I didn't know
5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Running back coach, right?
Linebackers.
Okay.
He's going to be special because that's his position. That's his head coach's position. So, all right. So, again, if you didn't hear it by now, I can't imagine you didn't. His press conference was today. He made an impression. I went in wanting not to be impressed right away. I don't know about you, Loren. I wanted to wait to see. But I got to tell you, this is a corny thing to say, but Shane, you would get this. The first time I ever saw a big league coach, I thought he was Darryl Royal. He was the biggest. He was a fired up guy. He came to Gainesville and spoke. And I was about 22. And I wanted to strap it on and go play for him. I said, this is a guy I could play for. I could see the same kind of quality in this guy. I'm thinking, you know what, Franz? I'd like to play for Jon Sumrall. Wouldn't you, Loren?
Yeah, he's my kind of guy, man. I like it. I like it in your face. I like, you got a little edge to it. Practice is lively. We got the pads popping a little bit. And, I was indifferent to it. I just want Florida to be successful, man. I want them to do it the right way. And when I say the right way, I'm talking about I don't care about choir boy and all that stuff. Maybe I'm built different. You ain't got to be. I mean, whatever, man. What you do, your personal life. I'm trying to win.
A little bit
and
nasty,
as long as,
like Franz Beard.
yeah, a little bit of nasty, and I mean, and Shane knows, man. You gotta prepare. You gotta be focused. Your team has to be sharp in the mental game as well as the physical part of the game. And you gotta cherish the football. You gotta cherish opportunities. You gotta make plays. And ultimately, whoever was taking over that program, they need to change a little bit. Because like I said, I really think that what will plague Billy Napier, well, and we could stop talking about Billy Napier, but the Monday through Thursday, I just thought they really didn't do a great job preparing the Monday through Thursday.
Let's see what this guy thinks. He's going to go be with us for 10 minutes. He's going to go 99, get him catch a Plains basketball game somewhere in the world. Franz Beard, good evening, Franz.
Good evening. I was impressed, and here's what I was really impressed with, guys, and that is the fact that he came across with the kind of self-confidence that I didn't get with Billy Napier. I really didn't. I mean, I hate talking about Billy Napier also. Billy came across very subtly, and that's his personality. This guy exudes confidence, and that's what Florida needs right now. Florida needs an injection of confidence. He didn't sound like a consolation prize to me, and I know that people are thinking of him as a consolation prize, but Spurrier, Urban Meyer, and Archie Manning, of all people, think that Florida got the better end of the deal in getting this guy rather than getting Lane. They think long term that he'll be a better deal for Florida.
Mm-hmm. All right, we only got a couple of minutes, and you're better than us breaking up. Franz, switch real quick. Basketball. We'll come back to the subject in a minute, Loren. Coach, you got basketball coming out here. Some big games coming up. What you got going on? What's for the
well, we're up at Duke tomorrow. And it's a game the Gators can win. I got to tell you, winning up there in Cameron is a very, very difficult venue. They are absolutely nuts. Their fan base there, they make it very, very hard. They get to you psychologically, and I've seen so many years teams that came in there with a better team that left because they just couldn't handle the pressure that's put on there by their fan base. It's one of the 3 or 4 most difficult places to play. Fog Allen's like that up at Kansas. You don't go up there and beat Kansas up there. You don't hard to beat Kentucky up at Rupp, and Duke's the same way. So, but they're beatable, and they're beatable if the Gators don't turn the ball over, if they keep their heads in the game, which they didn't do in the TCU game. And the third thing they've got to do is they've got to be able to play without fouling. If they get in foul trouble against Duke, Duke doesn't miss free throws. And you can't keep sending people to the line like they did against TCU and expect to win. That being said, Florida can win this ball game. Florida's got as good a talent as Duke. They really do. And if Klavjar and Xavier Lee and Boogie are hitting shots on the outside, got 3 guys hitting threes. What does that sound a lot like last year's team?
Problems with the internet tonight. He comes back. We got standing back. Franz, you're having internet problems tonight.
No, none at all.
Let you get on the road and go and have a great trip.
All right.
I'm sorry. Franz, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you checking in. All right.
See you, friends.
All right, friends. Be safe, bro. Get some Bullock's barbecue for me. I missed that in Durham. Anyway,
we've lost Franz and Shane. Let me bring it back to football tonight and the importance of getting the right guys on board and offensive coordinators and all that. besides Kate Bell, I want this and answer me after I get this other guy home. Tell me what you think. Names out there that you could give us that you think would be great. Of course, they're going to have to be guys that he likes or whatever outside the box to find somebody. That's the good thing about him. So let's do this. Let's go get our guy Kevin. Take a quick break and talk about our fine sponsors, our friends at Meldon Law. They, of course, sponsor a whole bunch of things. You hear them on here a lot of times. They are big Gator fans. They've done a terrific job of bringing things to light and backing the Gators and all things. They also practice law, and you know all about him. They're the only official law firm at the University of Florida. And Jeffrey does for the community as well as do things like invitation for the band, etc. And so he's loving life right now. I haven't talked to him about the new coach. He's excited about it, like he was about that. If you need help, call Meldon Law. They have 5 to serve you. 4 Northwest Florida, Gainesville, Lake City, and Williston, then down around Fort Lauderdale. There's another one. There are 50 attorneys now with Meldon Law. Meldon Law, back down. Well, this guy was there today on the front row, asking questions, talking. I'll just let you give it to you and let you and Loren and me. What's your takeaway of the new Gator coach, Jon Sumrall?
He seems like a guy you'd like to go out and have a beer with. I mean, he's just like a blue-collar, regular guy. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to deal with. I think he's got a good intensity about him, but has personality as well, I think. And I think, he's passionate. He cares. And I think he's going to bring an edge to this football program that maybe was missing under Billy Napier in terms of, let's see, besides the Florida State game, which they were obviously up for the rivals, what was the big problem during the 4-game losing streak, especially the 3 games against Kentucky, against Ole Miss, and against Tennessee? Tackling, physicality, effort. I think he's going to bring that to this program. He's going to demand it. And I think you're going to see a much more physical team as a result, a team that plays with a little more passion because it's going to take on the personality of its coach.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I must be on my end here too, the hotel. But we're going in and out. Kevin, real fast, give it on the temperament in the room, the responses you've gotten from people since the story. You had a very good story today about him. What has been the response from people? And give it all about this new coach.
Well, I had first written that, Florida, that Scott Strickland, I thought, lost the press conference in terms of the fact that you're hiring another group of 4 guy from Louisiana. And as you research it now, perhaps a little bit, I think some minds have been changed on it. I still think that there are probably a few questions as to, why he didn't go for a Power 4 coach. But Scott Strickland, fairly pointed out, hey, look, Brian Kelly was a Power 4 coach from Notre Dame, and he failed at LSU too. I mean, it can happen to anyone, really. But I do think sometimes there's that jump in level. There's that jump in schematics. You're recruiting different kind of athletes. I think it's a fair concern, and we will see how it plays out. People, point back to Urban Meyer and Group of 5. But, I mean, Utah was on the cusp of being a Power 4 team then, and they were an undefeated team. But Sumrall, look, he's done wonders at Tulane. He's all about winning. He talks about winning. He's got an intensity about himself to demand it. So I think he won over a lot of people in the room and a lot of reporters in terms of just his demeanor. And, and talking to Rich Brooks this morning too, and talking to Urban, a couple of things stood out. They talked a lot about toughness and intelligence. And I think that those are 2 pretty good traits for a quote. I've often said this, and I feel this way about Todd Golden too, is that smart wins. And if he's a smart guy, and if he brings a smart staff, and he brings a staff, an offensive coordinator that's kind of on the cutting edge and can, as he promised he has, and that can certainly put points on the board in the swamp. I think it could be successful. Look, it can't get much worse. I mean, 4 losing seasons in the last 5 years. I think Gator fans are just looking for hope right now any way they can get it.
All right, let me get Shane back in here. Are you having problems hearing him, Loren?
Now I can hear everybody.
Are you hearing?
It's you, buddy. It's your computer.
Okay, it might be okay, you're hearing it good. As long as you're hearing it, okay.
Yeah, I got everybody.
It's my internet here.
I can hear everybody.
All right, good. All right, so Shane, bring it back home here now. In these coming days and weeks, do you think it really is a good thing for him to coach his team in the playoffs? Is that a plus for Florida? Certain people say they like it because it shows he's committing. Do you think that was a good move by Scott Strickland? And how far will that set Florida back, or will it at all, Shane?
I don't think it's going to set them back at all. I think, look, both Tulane and Florida obviously agreed to let him coach his team as long as they kept winning. I like that. And, his season obviously will end if he doesn't win Friday night in their championship game. And it could move on for another couple of weeks, but he'll be doing both jobs. He's going to have plenty of people in place to take care of the recruiting and all that. And I think I did see some part of a soundbite saying, or maybe it wasn't at the press conference, somewhere where he said that they honored all the kids that have been verbally committed. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to sign with the Gators, but even though he and his new staff hasn't actually recruited these kids, if they wanted to be Gators, I think he said they could be Gators, something along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked his comment today when he said he won the game. He was impressed with the players. He's equally concerned to give it to number 13 10 more times. What do we have about that, Shane? Performance by Jaden Ball. Just amazing. I would truly think I could put it down there is as good an individual performance as I've ever seen by one Gator on that field. Hey, Shane?
I would probably have to say it might be the best I've seen because, I mean, you got to remember, I didn't get to see a whole lot of games while I was playing. And I got here, in 88. So, Tebow had some great ones, but I think most of his, really dominating were on away games, I think, if I remember correctly. But I know Trey Burton had that one. Didn't he score 8 touchdowns?
6 touchdowns, yeah.
6 touchdowns. So
Percy Harvin against LSU at home was pretty dynamic. Percy had some pretty dynamic games in the swamp during his career too. But Ball is up there, I would say.
And the beautiful thing is look, Florida State's not very good. I think we can all agree there, but it's still Florida State. Emmett had that. I think he has the most yards rushing, but that's against the New Mexico Lobos, I believe. So to do it against Florida State is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And they got some pros on that defense. I mean, people don't think so, but I mean, they'll have some guys play on Sundays on that defense, up front at least.
Yeah, it was tremendously impressive in terms of, you knew that they coming into that game they were going to be able to run the football, certainly, but you got to credit Billy Gonzalez too in his last game getting that first win for recognizing that and sticking with it and not kind of deviating from that, knowing that that was a game and giving it to him that many times. I mean, that's but give Ball credit too for withstanding that 38 carries and making it through a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
38 carries. I wake up in the middle of the night doing this. Not a lot of carries, bro. Here's another thing, and I think that to kind of talk about Billy Gonzalez, which I thought was cool, Kev, you were there, it's stuck in his craw that they didn't get Ricky that 61 yards a couple years ago, 67, 61. And, and he kind of referenced that he felt bad about it. I'm going to tell you, I think if I had one things happen, but if I had one problem with the last organization is that didn't happen. And not only that, I think it might have, they probably could have won the football game if they'd have made a little bit more intentional effort to give Ricky the ball that night. But, that was one of the things that I kind of was a little salty about long term was come on, dude, seriously.
I think Billy often worried about keeping everyone happy. You know what I mean? Like spreading the. And sometimes you just got to ride your best players, man.
Yep.
And I think Gonzalez recognized that, and you would hope, fingers crossed, that Sumrall recognizes that as well. That you got to ride the guys that are the best, and then just let the other guys work to be at that level and use them at spots. But I think certainly with Jaden Baugh, that turned out to be a successful plan.
Yeah,
Buddy, can you hear us?
I can hear you. You're real choppy on my end. Brendan's, I don't know what it is here at the hotel. I'll let you guys go on the conversation a little longer. I know Shane's got to cut out here and move on. Well,
I got a question for Shane.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
What?
sorry. I had a question. I wonder. I mean, what does? Man, maybe I missed it. I watched the show, but Shane, I mean, as far as what you think going forward, offensively, I mean, is it? I mean, everybody talks about explosive offense and things like that, and that's what Florida has to have. But you look at what teams do offensively. I've always thought if it's sound and the kids believe in it, it really doesn't matter as long as you're putting points on the board. I mean, what is your thoughts on this whole what it has to look like or how it has to look, because somebody may say, okay, he hired this guy. Well, let's go look at his offense and this is the way it's going to be, as opposed to taking what the Gators have and building around that in the most efficient, I guess explosive would be the best way to describe, I guess. But I think you create explosiveness by, once you catch the ball, putting your foot in the ground and getting loose, or once you hit the next level, running the ball, getting loose too,
Yeah,
So.
I talk about this all the time, usually during the broadcast. I need efficient play. I need execution. And as you stated, the big plays come from that, explosive plays. And I always talk about quarterback play because I'm adamant about quarterback play. And you need consistency at that position. People like, well, we go 3 and out a lot. Well, that's because you're not completing the easy throws. If you move the chains and you're efficient and you're consistent, the offense will start rolling. That's when everybody gets involved. You get into a rhythm. So to answer your question, I don't know who he's going to hire as the OC. I've heard Kate. I've heard Buster Faulkner at Georgia Tech. I've heard the OC at Tennessee, a couple other people. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. It comes down to execution. And, I'm a big believer you got to throw 5 or 6 deep balls a game, because 80% of the time you can get pass interference. You might as well throw it down there. So it's not like I need to see spread. Everybody wants to spread people out. I get it. But from a play caller standpoint, if you watch the best ones, they like the condensed formations, because that really puts DBs in a bind. When you watch the Sean McVays, the Shanahans, watch the Chiefs, all those people. But then, the next series, you spread them out. So I think he's going to make a good hire. I think he realizes how poor we've been on offense for so long. And with the athletes he's going to be coaching now, make it easy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ball in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
However you got to do it.
Right. I mean, I told people I've seen the team, put BTA in the 3-step, because guys are just catching the ball. It's quick. It's efficient. You whiff on the tackle. Now it's on. I mean, I think I think people put a lot of, and you could throw deep, in that quick game and things like that. But I just think that, so many people look for certain things and they don't understand, like even, the 2 tight ends, it does force the defense to stay balanced, like Billy Napier said. I mean, it does. Now, what you got to kind of do some things with it, but it is, everybody says, well, I'm sick of seeing 2 tight ends. Well, defenses don't like to see 2 tight ends.
They don't.
If you're being good with them. So, I mean, I think that's, a guy said to me, well, I kept seeing 2 tight ends against Tulane, but I said, you got to see what they're doing out of it. It's not just because you see 2 tight ends.
Nobody was complaining about 2 tight ends Saturday night because we ran about 99% of the game was out of 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're moving the chains, nobody gives a crap if you have 5 tight ends in there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're not even paying attention to that. They're really first down Gators. That's so.
And any DC will tell you 2 tight ends forces you to balance out, and they don't like that. So,
well, like I said, I'm a big personnel guy. I like mixing it up because it keeps the defense thinking and having And I go to the NFL game. I know we're not talking NFL here, but Sean McVay a couple of weeks ago, for whatever reason, the Rams was on the regular game. They ran 13 personnel, like 85% of the game, and they threw the ball out of it, and the opposing team had no answer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of ways to skin a cat.
Agreed.
I love those 5 wide sets. Trust me.
I love 5 wides too. Well, I like empty. That I don't know. It doesn't matter who those 5 eligible receivers are. I do like empty at times. But if you go empty, you better have an answer if they bring too many.
Yep.
You better know where to go with the football.
Especially for a week, you better buckle up or get it out. You there, buddy?
Can you hear us?
I'm here. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we got
We
you.
can hear you.
I've got a soundbite here.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to make here today that the question I asked in the press conference, because this was truly a magnificent for the Sumrall family. They were all there.
Yeah.
I thought he did a really great job of introducing his fan. It's a jubilant time for him. Really hard, and he worked his way up the ladder and has earned everything. And coach chance to do something nobody's done, doesn't he? After he wins this conference, it's successful. And I got to thinking about, but in all of our lives, we have a time that's great, the top of the mountain, and we have the time down the mountain, right, Shane? Great times is not so great times. Here's basically was the leading tackler for Kentucky. We have him right now. Now that Stoops has been fired, probably would. He was a great linebacker. He talked about going to the swamp and beating Florida and couldn't believe it, how great it was. And he also, I asked him, I said, okay, now that was the times. Talk about the day you were the lowest you've ever been. When he was told as a senior he could not play ball because he had stenosis of the spine. And he had to quit the team, quit playing. And I asked you what he did. He said he went off down the road to Destin, drank a bunch of beers. But here's what he said. Let's see if we can hear this. Here's what he said, how this was to him. I can get it now.
Hi, Coach. Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show in Gator Bay. By the way, bring that back, that Gator Bay. We want that back. I want to take you back to a time in your life, this being a great day, which might have been your lowest point, if I've read correctly, when you received the news about your spine. And you're basically without football, which I know must have been very depressing. Talk about where you were then, your journey to get here today, and who may have helped you along the way.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I guess it was April 2005. 04, I just led the team in tackles at Kentucky. I was a really kind of a self-made player. God gifted me with some things, but elite physical talent wasn't the most gifted thing he gave me. I'd worked really hard to become a starter, really, really hard. Like I'd outworked people that were more talented than me. Led the team in tackles in 04, was on the several watch lists for awards that were coming out that spring and summer. And then that spring I got the diagnosis. My arms were going numb for not like a couple plays or even a couple hours, but started going numb like a couple days where I couldn't grab stuff. And I was in severe pain. And so I'd been dealing with it for a couple of years and not said a whole lot about it because I was fearful they may tell me I had something more wrong with me than I wanted to hear. And so the diagnosis was what I probably thought it was. I was distraught, man. Like, I've given this game everything I'd had to become the player I was, which was a pretty average player, but I'd made myself an average player. And I was heartbroken because I invested so much into my own development. Truthfully, we got done with spring ball that year. Coach Brooks said, "Hey, I want you to stay on as a student coach." We got done with the spring semester. I'd graduated. I drove to Destin, Florida. I probably tried to, like, drink enough cold beer that I could not think about my injury for a couple of days because I was crushed. And then Coach Brooks's football ops guy at the time, a guy named Steve Hellier. I'm sitting on the beach. I have like a flip phone that none of us would recognize now. And Steve Hellier says, "John, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm sitting on the beach drinking a beer. What are you doing?" He goes, "Coach Brooks wants to know if you come back and be a GA." And I didn't immediately get in my car because I wasn't in capacity to do so. But I went to the condo that night, packed my stuff up, and left the next morning, got back to Lexington, Kentucky, and started coaching the next day. Started working youth camp. And so hadn't looked back. And it's been the greatest blessing of my life to be a college football coach. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Go Gators.
Okay, what do we think about that, guys? Did you hear it okay?
Yes. Very, heartfelt.
Did you hear that?
story.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we did. Yes, we did. I'm talking now, buddy. Very heartfelt story, for sure. And, I'm talking to Coach Brooks about it this morning. I think it shaped who he was, too, as a coach, just the work ethic and the fact that, that was something that was taken away from him. But, the fact that he's able to stay in the game, impact young lives, and get to the point where he is 25 years later to be 25 years later, to be the head football coach at the University of Florida. Says a lot about his determination and his work ethic and his certainly football IQ, which I keep getting to over and over again is, Rich Brooks talked about how smart he was as a player too, and how that translated into the coaching ranks.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Guys, we gave it the best
oh.
we ever we had. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean we good. I can
ahead.
still. We all good with you. No, I was just saying. I mean, it was. It's a guy that likes ball, man. I think that's what's going to be important. Is it's a guy that really likes the football part of it. I think it's going to be fun, and we'll see, man. I mean, when the rubber hits the road, though, it's them 12 Saturdays in the fall, man, and everybody needs to be careful not to fall prey. And I mean, even if we'd hired Lane Kiffin, it'd have been rainbows and balloons everywhere. But if he went 5-7, then we'd have been in trouble same way. So, I mean, I think we wait to see what the football looks like and see what happens. And one thing, I mean, somebody said, well, at least he won't wear black on the sidelines. I don't think he will. So people can get over that. Shane, did that bother you as an alumnus that Billy wore black?
Not really. I mean, people don't realize Ty Golden wears black on the sidelines.
Well, he got a natty, I guess. Maybe
Right.
you get the pass.
Yeah.
But a lot of alumni have told me, man, why don't you ask? First of all, they asked me why I didn't ask Billy why he wore black in the press conference. I said, I only get one question every so often. I'm not asking him that. I'm not wasting it on that for sure.
By the way, I want to make this quick point.
All right, guys, real quick. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead,
I was going to
kid.
say we're going to shut it down because it's so bad.
Oh.
And I'm talking to you in the morning. Talk about your
Okay.
show tomorrow.
All right, fellas. Have a good
and,
night.
we'll pick it up from there.
All right, Shane.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Guys, sorry about the internet. We'll get it better. Thanks, folks, for bearing with it tonight. It's been a tough night for that. Thanks you, Loren, for bailing me out there. Thanks, Kevin. And let me just say thanks to the folks who sponsor this program. We apologize. We will make it up to you that we didn't get a chance to do the whole show tonight. But this is what happens with the internet. It's what happens when you got technology, when you're out of town, especially, and dealing with the hotel. So there's not much you can do there. Apologize. We'll be back at you tomorrow. We're going to be on with Shane. Meanwhile, thanks to Titan MR and Imaging. They now have 3 locations to serve you. They're located in, two locations, two in Gainesville. The Titan MRI is, of course, has acquired Highfield, and they do a great job of high quality MRI solutions, healthcare. I heard a spot done by Jeff Cardoza today on this. Did a great job talking about what high tech people they are there and the information they have, and they're able to do a heck of a job. They'll tell you about high quality MRI solutions to healthcare providers and patients across North Central Florida. And the three locations: Millennium Center, practicing joining the existing Titan MRI on Park Avenue, and a location located in Lake City provides much needed service to the area, including Valdosta and Southern Georgia. So they have expanded roster of doctors and practitioners. They accelerate the service you've come to expect from Titan MRI and imaging. So thanks to them. Thanks to you again. We apologize for the bad technology tonight. We'll try to get it better. Come back again. Appreciate it. Got a new coach. I like him. You're going to like him. I predict that he's going to be successful here. We'll see. I don't want to get too fall in love overnight on the first day. All right. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll talk at you again tomorrow morning with Shane, and we'll be back on the air again on Wednesday. Good night, folks.